Hello, it is I, Sir Devon of Kang, and welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to be recasting every Doctor Who up to 13 because that's what the Time Lord regeneration cycle is. And I looked on my channel dashboard thingy, you know, that page that comes up when I'm looking on my phone. And if I go to my main channel page, and let's begin. Number one, David Warner. So David Warner's already been Doctor Who in The Big Finish Unbound, but I watched Ladies in Lavender and he was exactly like the first Doctor. He's kind of that grumpy old man type figure, but then he will teach you stuff about the galaxy and time and space. I think David Warner's a good pick for Doctor number one. Jim Howick. Now this man is in Horrible Histories. He's the perfect fit for number two. Because if you've watched some of his Horrible Histories, you know that he can be amusing and serious at the same time. So he'd be a good fit for number two. Also, another thing about David Warner as Doctor number one is that he probably remembers the first episode of Doctor Who coming on. Then we have Mackenzie Crook for Doctor number three. Now, he's already played a role that John Pertwee portrayed in Wurzel Gummidge. And although the first season, I think, wasn't successful as Wurzel, the second season picked up on that. I think so. But Mackenzie Crook would be fitting as the third Doctor. You know, they cast him as Wurzel Gummidge now. They can cast him as Doc 3. And he has that inventive type of a character. Ernie Hudson as Doctor number 4. Now, we're going to give an American the role as the Doctor. Now, number 4 is a big role to play, big shoes to fill, and I think Ernie Hudson kind of could match Tom Baker's personality. Of course, no one replaces Tom Baker. Like, no one will ever replace the Fourth Doctor. You know, no one's ever going to be Tom Baker. He was perfect for the role. Ernie Hudson would be kind of... I know, because the Fourth Doctor was kind of silly and serious, you know, that peculiar kind for Doctor Who, and I think Ernie Hudson could portray that role. Also, he's got the role as kind of a grandfather figure, and, you know, he'd have that personality type that the Fourth Doctor had. Miles Dobson as the Fifth Doctor. So Miles Dobson would be a good role for the Fifth Doctor because he has that softness that the Fifth Doctor had, that Peter Davison had. And he probably likes cricket, and he cared a lot for his companion, so he's got that caring face that Davison had, and he wouldn't let anything bad happen to his companions, whether it be Tegan, Nyssa, or Adric. Then we have, I can't remember his name, but I know he's Shane from Neighbours. Yeah, he's kind of the grumpy-like figure that Colin Baker was, and he can portray, and he can be loud, and he'd be good for the Sixth Doctor. And, you know, I think in Neighbours, he was a Doctor Who fan. His character liked Doctor Who as well. Which is good. So, yeah, I think Shane Rebecca from Neighbours. So Nicholas Colgan, I think. No, Nicholas Coghlan. Yeah, his role is. Yeah, he'd be good as the Sixth Doctor. And also, he's kind of that straight, broken type character who can be quite silly at times, but quite loud. But also has a kind of a caring nature, like the Sixth Doctor had in Big Finish, and will do seek out justice. Now, number 7, played by Sarah Steadens, I think her name is. Yeah. So when I saw her in Riverdale, she portrayed it perfectly. So I would cast her as the Master, but I think she'd be kind of like Sylvester McCoy because she has that dark type tone that Sylvester McCoy had, and she can also be quite funny as well. So she could have that goofy but serious and calculating role that the Seventh Doctor had. Like, I could imagine her with the Sylvester McCoy umbrella walking out of the fire or walking out of the circus thing, the Great Show in the Galaxy, and I can just see her as the Seventh Doctor. She carries a lot of that intelligence and all that master chess player that Sylvester McCoy had. So Sarah Steadens, my ideal Seventh Doctor replacement. Although I know no one can replace the original actors, but this would be mine. Now yours truly for Doc 8. Not just is he my favourite Doctor, but I kind of share a lot of similarities with Doctor number 8. You know, I I can be charming and I can give humour to a situation, and I do have humour, and also this is the Doctor that's in the Time War, so I think I like playing those kind of roles. So we're not having a War Doctor here, so just 8 and 9, but yeah, this could be the I want to stay out of this time war and I refuse to be like this type persona, and I will be broken if so. Like when Lucy Miller died, that really shook up the Doctor. As for me, if someone would, if Lucy Miller suddenly died, if I was the Eighth Doctor and Lucy Miller died, I'd be the exact same as the Eighth Doctor. You know, I I'd want to be the Eighth Doctor. Then Sage Linda for the Ninth Doctor. So the Ninth Doctor was a broken soul after the Time War, and I think Miss Linda could carry that to be a broken but humorous at times Doctor. So he's like a war veteran, keeps up the humour, but can be very serious as well. And I think, it will be also a new role for her as well, for the actor, because Summer's usually the bubbly, happy type person. The Ninth Doctor is completely different to Summer, where the Ninth Doctor is this broken soldier who is the last of his kind, and can get lonely and is looking for a friend, but doesn't want to share the guilt that he had with Cass, Lucy Miller, Molly O'Sullivan, Liv Chenka, all of his previous companions who died in the Time War. And for 10, Sam Witwer. Sam Witwer's got the look for Tennant. I mean, he's kind of like Tennant in a way where he can be quite excitable, but I think Witwer could perhaps bring his more lightheartedness and seriousness to the role as well. You know, number 10's all energetic and he's very caring and he cares about his companions. I would say Whitwell would bring that to the role of the Doctor. He'd be quite a darker personality, but then again, he could goof off every now and then. Then we have Lindy Booth as the 11th Doctor. Now, when I watched The Librarians, I immediately thought Lindy Booth would be a good 11th Doctor. And, you know, she has the energy of Matt Smith. She has, of course, the 11th Doctor had his angry moments and his emotional moments. And I think she'd be, you know, emotional about losing the ponds. And she would be like Matt Smith's Doctor. You know, she'd be very energetic and she'd be all over the place and she'd be perfect for Doc 11. And also, she's a redhead, so the Doctor can finally be ginger. Because Matt Smith stated in his opening scene, still not ginger. So I think Lindy would be a good alternative choice for 11. Tom Cavanagh for the 12th Doctor. Now, Harry Wells is a bit like the 12th Doctor at first. You know, he shares that I don't like spending time with people, but can be darker. And Tom Cavanagh's portrayal of Eobard Thawne is very mysterious, like Capaldi played the Doctor in season 8. You know, it's what we needed, and Kavanagh can play those types of roles. And plus, it can give someone else an excuse to say that there's another version of Harrison Wells. But no, seriously, Tom Cavanagh would be a good choice for 12. And our final choice for 13 is Martin Freeman. Now, Martin Freeman would be quite a serious Doctor because he has that kind of role. You know, he played that kind of role in Nativity and The Responder. He'd play more of a broken man. And I think that's what he could bring to the 13th Doctor. And the 13th Doctor could be a veteran of 1,000 Wars because he knows that his time is up, and Martin Freeman could bring that kind of like John Watson. He could have that I know my days are numbered, but you know, I've got to live my life kind of role. So those are my casting choices for the Doctor. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did casting them. Did you like any of my casting choices? If you disagree with them, that's okay. You know, would you like to see any of these guys portray the Doctor in Big Finish? So I know they do a lot of Unbound audios. Of course, we've already got David Warner as the... Of course, we already had David Warner as the Doctor, but any of these other choices, like Sarah Steadings, for instance, she could be a good should be a good 7th Doctor in an Unbound timeline where the Master survived his trial and she confronts Davros and what if. And for Sage Linda's Doctor, what if Gallifrey actually got destroyed? And she'd be more of a grieving type figure. You know, she feels like she's lost a friend, and that's exactly what she could bring to being the 9th Doctor. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'd like to thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. So goodbye and good night.